Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the English Story Podcast. I'm Zara.
And I'm Mark. Today's episode is for all of you who feel like you can understand English perfectly fine, but freeze up when it's time to speak.
Yes, this is such a common issue. Maybe you can follow a conversation or watch a TV show without subtitles, but when you're asked a question in English, it's like your brain hits pause.
Exactly. But here's the good news. This isn't a permanent issue. It's something you can absolutely change with the right strategies.
Today, we're focusing on research-backed strategies to help you speak confidently, without relying on the usual tips like just immerse yourself or imitate native speakers. We're diving deeper.
So whether you're struggling to answer questions in meetings, hesitant to order at a restaurant, or nervous during casual conversations, this episode is for you.
Let's get started.
One of the most effective strategies for building speaking confidence is using thought blocks. Research shows that our brains process familiar information faster than unfamiliar prompts.
A thought block is essentially a pre-prepared set of ideas for topics you encounter often. Instead of building sentences from scratch in the middle of a conversation, you're using a mental framework.
For example, let's say someone asks, "What do you do for work?" You can create a simple thought block. 1. Introduction. I work as a software developer. 2. Details. I specialize in mobile apps and I enjoy creating user-friendly experiences. 3. Follow-up. How about you? What field are you in?
Having thought blocks for topics like hobbies, work, travel plans, and daily routines makes it easier to keep conversations flowing because you're not thinking of every word on the spot.
Exactly. You're reducing the cognitive load, or the mental effort, required to respond. And the more you practice these blocks, the more natural they'll feel.
To get started, make a list of common conversation topics that come up in your life. Then, write out a few sentences for each one, focusing on key points you can talk about confidently.
For example, if you love traveling, your thought block could include where you've been, why you enjoyed it, and your future travel plans.
Practice saying these blocks aloud to make them feel natural. You can even record yourself and listen back to hear how you sound.
And remember, thought blocks aren't scripts, they're flexible. You can adapt them as needed during the conversation.
One last tip, add a question at the end of your thought block to keep the conversation going. If you mention your favorite type of music, you can follow up with, what kind of music do you like?
Thought blocks give you a foundation, so when it's your turn to speak, you won't feel like you're scrambling for words.
Our second strategy is to change the way you think about mistakes. Studies show that fear of mistakes triggers the same stress response as public speaking anxiety.
That's true. Your body treats speaking mistakes as a threat. But here's the thing. Mistakes are a natural part of the learning process, not a sign of failure.
A study from the University of Cambridge found that learners who viewed their errors as data for improvement made faster progress than those who were afraid of errors.
Let's break that down. If you say, "I go to the store yesterday," instead of "I went to the store," your first reaction might be embarrassment. But what if you reframed that and thought, "Great, I've identified something I can improve"?
Exactly. Instead of freezing up, reframe mistakes as feedback. You can even say out loud, oops, that was close. Let's try again. I went to the store.
This reframing trains your brain to associate speaking with growth instead of fear. You're building resilience and creating a safe mental space to make progress.
Another helpful approach is to keep a mistake journal. Write down any mistakes you notice during the day, along with the correct version. Review it at the end of the week and practice those corrections aloud.
This shifts your mindset from avoiding mistakes to actively learning from them. Plus, you'll start noticing patterns, like tenses or prepositions, that you can work on specifically.
And don't forget to celebrate small wins. If you correct a word you've struggled with before, give yourself credit. Confidence grows with each success, no matter how small.
Remember, the goal isn't perfection, it's progress.
Here's an unexpected but powerful strategy: pausing. Many learners rush to respond in English because they fear awkward silences.
But research from communication experts shows that pausing for 2 to 3 seconds actually makes you appear more thoughtful and confident.
Yes, pausing gives you time to organize your thoughts. Instead of panicking, you can say something like, that's a great question. Let me think about it for a second.
This small pause helps reset your brain and signals to the listener that you're engaged.
Pausing isn't just about buying time, it's about staying present in the conversation. And while you pause, practice active listening. Really focus on what the other person is saying.
For example, if someone says, I've been working on a new project at work, you can respond with, That sounds interesting. What kind of project is it? Instead of worrying about creating a long response.
By actively listening, you get natural prompts for how to continue the conversation. You don't need to come up with a response from thin air. It's already there.
A helpful exercise is to practice short pauses during solo practice. Ask yourself a question, pause, and answer it slowly. This helps you get comfortable with moments of silence.
Conversations flow best when both parties feel heard. Taking your time to pause and listen makes you a more engaging speaker.
Our fourth strategy taps into psychology, self-talk, and visualization. Athletes use this to boost performance, and language learners can benefit too.
Self-talk means speaking to yourself in English, especially in situations where you're nervous. For example, before a meeting, you can say to yourself, I'm prepared. I know how to explain my project clearly.
Visualization takes it a step further. Picture yourself successfully having a conversation. Imagine the setting, the other person's reactions, and how you'll speak calmly and confidently.
Research from UCLA shows that mental rehearsal can reduce anxiety and improve performance by reinforcing positive outcomes.
It's like running a mental simulation that helps you feel more prepared when the real situation happens.
Before a social event, take 2 minutes to visualize yourself joining a group conversation and contributing confidently. Focus on how you'll sound and feel.
Pairing self-talk with visualization is a powerful combination. It's like giving your brain a preview of success.
Another overlooked strategy is using personalized vocabulary boosts to build confidence.
What do we mean by that? Instead of trying to memorize long vocabulary lists, focus on words and phrases that match your life and goals.
For example, if you're a graphic designer, learn how to talk about your projects, layout, typography, color scheme. You'll feel more comfortable when talking about things you know well.
Yes, personalized vocabulary makes your conversations more authentic. Plus, you're less likely to freeze up because you're using familiar terms.
And don't stop there. Think about common conversation topics in your daily life. If you love cooking, learn food-related phrases like, I'm experimenting with new spices.
When your vocabulary reflects your interests, you'll have more to say and enjoy speaking more.
Let's quickly recap today's strategies. 1. Prepare thought blocks for common conversation topics to reduce mental effort. 2. Reframe mistakes as learning moments to build resilience. 3. Use pausing and active listening to organize your thoughts and stay calm. 4. Self-talk and visualization can help you practice and reduce anxiety. 5. Use personalized vocabulary that matches your life for more natural conversations.
Remember, confidence doesn't come from speaking perfectly. It comes from speaking consistently and believing in your progress.
Thanks for listening. If you found these tips helpful, share this episode with a friend who's learning English too.
And don't forget to subscribe for more strategies and stories.
Take care and see you next time.